Hi, welcome to Kippy.cloud. We're gonna show you today how easy it is to get your account set up in few minutes. You would be surprised how fast it could be. First, you have to go to the main page, web page in Kippy.cloud, and then on the top right corner there is sign up. So if you click on this one, you go straight to the sign up menu. So you put your work email, Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo email will not work because this is not a corporation. We need the domain for your own company. And of course, sometime you have the first dot last name, which is very typical. All people who gonna be invited by you, and then they could invite themselves later on from manager to staff. They also have to have the same exact domain name to access your account. This is for governance and for security reasons. Next, you will put your first and last name and then your phone number. And then you click on where did you hear about Kippy and you register. As soon as you sign up, a password will be sent to your own email. You can always change it later if you want by clicking on this top right corner icon. It's called change password. So as soon as you sign up, you will get to this screen. Also, we have to bring your attention that you have a wizard here to help you out, walking you through step by step how to create your account or the company account for the first time. So as a recommendation, we have to select the language. We have more than 100 languages available. So you have to click on the also top right corner on the icon called change language, and you have to select one of all these languages, which one you prefer. So let's assume that now you are selecting the English version and you set it up as a system language. However, later on, certain managers or certain people, they might also change the language for their own screens, not necessarily for the whole corporation, but only for their own screens. We prefer to have the data entered by everybody in the same language. However, the titles, they could be customized later on by the right user. So let's close that. And this will be the first step that you need to take to set the language. When you click next in the wizard, also it can give you direction what to do next. So in this case, we have to click on this icon on the top right corner called strategy to be able to begin to add our strategy to the system. So this happened to be the same screen that we're looking at. So let's go and create an objective. So by clicking on this green objective button, I will just go and create my first objective. By default, you will have the traditional four perspectives from balance scorecard listed there. You can always change them, and after a while, we will go and see how you can change them from customer, financial, people, process to maybe something else. Okay, so let's now create our first objective called objective number one. And the description will be objective number one description. And we go and add the objective under the customer now. The system added this objective in front of you, like you're saying, under the customer perspective, objective number one, and the description is called objective one description. So we can repeat this one by adding one more, but this time under finance, for example, and we will say this is objective number two, and then also this is two descriptions. And now we created second objective under finance. And you keep doing this one 4 times, assuming that we're going to be creating four objectives, one for customer, one for a finance, and I will create the other two afterward. So after we created these four objectives, let's assume that we have to change the perspective called finance. We need to change the name of it from finance to financial. So we have to go to settings and we have to go to perspectives. And here we're gonna see a lot of items that we can to do on the perspective. So to rename a perspective, we have to call the financial one and then call it financials. Okay. And then if you need them to be in sequence, so you can always say finance one, financial one, financial. So it will come at the first slot in comparing to other ones in order. So let's now save the perspective. The system will confirm saving this change from finance to financial. And based on this, we can go back to the strategy and we can always see the financial now showing up on top and it have an objective and a description. Now our objectives are set and the perspectives are set. The descriptions are there. We have to add one KPI. We can either click on maintain by adding a KPI using this top right icon called maintain, or by clicking this green button at the bottom of the same page. So let's do that. Add KPI and it will give us exactly the same screen. So assuming now we have to go and find this financial objective, which is number 2 under financial. The KPI name could be OPEX budget performance, and automatically it will give my email first last mycorp.com, and the unit in this case is a percentage. We have to also select polarity, so direction wise, is it better for the KPI to increase or decrease? So because OPEX, and here we're talking about operation expenses, it is decrease is better, less expenses is better for the corporation. Also, the weight of this KPI is not that important. Also, is not normal. So we're gonna select 2x. 2x mean it's important enough, not top importancy, because we have to keep an eye on the expenses. The nice thing about the weightage here, you will set it one time only. It doesn't really matter if you want to add more KPI or to delete few KPI in the future. By setting the weight 1x, 2x, 3x, they will always be there for you without really changing them ongoing basis. This is a patent and this is very unique feature that really give the system the way to calculate the weightage independently if you have a new KPI or not. Also, you have to select quarterly or monthly or a yearly, assuming that I will select, can you see here how I have 4 quarters for the quarterly? So let me utilize monthly one. And is it cumulative? Cumulative mean every month will include the results and the targets for the previous months. And we do prefer to use cumulative all the time. So in this case, I will go and say, yes, it is cumulative and it's going to be every month. I'm going to add one more as a test only. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 just for testing, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And also because I am now in January already, I can always add, I have a 0 and let's assume that we are in February. So 3, 5, 7, and then so on. Okay. So based on this, okay, based on this, we're done. As long as we put the description in this case, so this is the KPI called OPEX. So let's call it KPI description 1. And then the formula will be formula 1. and the data source data 1. By doing this, we're done. The only thing that you cannot change moving forward is these four things: the direction, the weight, the cumulative, and the frequency. Why we cannot change them? Because we need to make sure that the results will not change for the whole scorecard later. Assuming that these four very detailed DNA for this KPI changed, or you would like to change this, you have to create a new KPI with that. This is the only thing that probably you have to highlight. This is for governance and this is for stability of the system reason. So let's now save this new KPI, and the system will confirm cloud is running right now live, and it will tell you that now this KPI is done. However, is not approved yet. As you can see here, it added this KPI to my list of KPIs, but it's not approved. So what we need to do to approve this one? We, assuming I am the owner of the system, the first person who sign up for the under this domain name becomes the owner by default. So he will have access to everything. Or in this case, if I am the manager of this specific team, then I will have the entitlement to approve the status. So which is in this corner here, bottom left corner, I will click on Edit KPI and I will go and approve this KPI to go live. So save KPI, and now no longer, as you can see here, unapproved. The system will change now the KPI to be an approved KPI by the either owner or the manager of this team. So now we have to select maybe a different owner for the KPI. And I'm now using the wizard just to tell me what to do. So I will just show you this is where we're at right now in the quick start, set KPI owner. What we will do, we will just click on invite, and then we have to put the same name, let's say Mike, and we have to utilize the same domain name, which is uh, my corporate, mycorp.com. The role here, we're gonna assign him as an admin, so he will have a control in his own team, so he can control anything within his own team. Okay, and the team here is will be the CEO, and we will go and invite Mike to join Kippy. When we do this one, automatically the system will send him an email with the password and all the details. So now let's change the owner of this KPI that we created in my own name as a owner system to change it to the owner of the KPI, the true owner of the KPI, who's Mike now. So we have to click on Edit KPI. We go to Owner, and then we create Mike at mycorp.com, and then we save it again. And now it's showing up under uh, Mike name. So after we added this KPI, let's see where this KPI gonna show up later on. So first it will show up in the summary. This summary will display all the related information related to this team. Uh, it's a bring all the KPIs, the perspectives, and it will show the big picture. So this is one of the KPI that we added under financials. We don't have a lot of KPIs now, so this is not going to display the performance of the perspectives. Also, we don't have too many objectives, only one. And these are the summary of the KPIs and the objective within the KPI within the objective. Also, we have qualitative analysis that people can add the key achievement, outstanding items, required decisions, and key challenges on a periodical basis, let's say every month. At the top, as you can see here, we have 2021 now, and this is the last quarter and month of 2021. Also, we're looking at the KPI module on top, and currently we are in the CEO team. Also, to bring your attention that all the icons here, they have an explanation for in the language that you selected. So you can always hover over any icon to know more about what this icon is all about. So now this is one way. The other way is the wheel. So you begin to build your wheel. You have the perspective first layer, objective second layer, and the third layer is the KPI. In addition to this, you can go to the dashboard. It will show you what we already added. See, all the plan and actual is showing up in a very nice way. It will show later on when you have many KPIs, it will show 4 and 5 KPI in the same line. Now it's taken the whole screen because it's only one KPI we have. In addition to this, you can go to the scorecard on the left side, sorry, on the right side of the screen, you have a scorecard. You will see that you have all these perspectives, and then the one that we added now it's the only one under objective 2, which is financial, and the current score for this month is 92%, comparing 12 versus 13, where decrease is better. It's a yellow. And the same thing for the score of the uh, uh, perspective, because we only have one KPI within this perspective. So this is how you can see things. You can always have a printout if you would like for all the KPIs, and this is the only one we have right now. It will be nice to just also print it with all the KPIs after you add the vision, mission, value, which we're going to be doing next. Also, you can utilize the icon on the left side called details to see the KPI with its details. So usually it's list all the KPI that you set for this team. This is the only one we have. So let's click at OPEX budget performance, and we don't only see the graph, but we see also all the details of this KPI that we added before. We can go back and flip this one to see the description and formula, and also we can go backward in time if we have multiple years in the back as a trend for the same KPI to see it. These two on the right side are to add notes later on between all the people who have access to this KPI, interaction with the KPI owner, adding tasks to this person. In addition to the audit trail, we need to understand exactly who did what and what changed to be able to keep a track of all the changes and who did the changes and when. So now let's add the mission, vision, value to make the strategy complete. We can either add it at the beginning uh, or now. However, it has to be done before we add any more team underneath the team of the CEO. So when we go and add the structure, it's much more preferable to have everything ready and set up at the top node, which is the CEO team, before we go and create team underneath the CEO in level 2. So when I go and click on the vision, I will go and say this is my vision and this is my mission and these are my values, and we save. Okay, now after we put the strategy in place, and this gonna be inherited by all the teams that we're gonna be creating underneath the CEO team. So let's now go and click on team. As you can see here, we have only one team. We created, or it had been created for us, the top node, which is the CEO node. Based on this, we have to create all other uh, team underneath this team. So let's do that. Let's click, and this is the 92% coming from the only KPI that we have. So let's click on adding a team, clicking on the plus, and we have to add HR team. So let's go and add this team. Added a team HR. Now we are building the structure, and this could take a little bit of time for the system, maybe a 1 minute or two. Meanwhile, I would like to tell you about this icon on top. So this icon could be changed by theme. So you can either creating the same logo for everybody, or you can create it by theme. It has to have a specific dimension to be able to be added correctly. So now we added, the HR underneath the CEO, and we can build the structure accordingly. And then we have now a logo called the solution crowd for this HR team. The yellow location means that we are currently looking at the HR team. This is the location here, and also it's indicative that we have now two teams and we are looking at the HR team. We are still in the KPI module. So let's now go back to the CEO team. Can you see here how this blue location transfers from HR to CEO? Also, the logo disappeared because we did not add it to the CO before. So let's add it again, file, and then the same logo for the whole corporation. And here you go. Now we have the same logo for both the CEO as well as the HR. Each team will have their own KPIs and project and logo. And now the HR also inherited the strategies. So the CO strategy was downloaded to the HR strategy. Okay. The only difference is the level. So for the strategy of the HR, you will have one extra level. So in the past, we have perspective, the objective, and description. Now we have something called parent team objective. This is coming straight from the CEO because now we are at HR. And if you want to change your own objectives, we can just click on the objective, and then we can change it to HR objective number 2B, and then we save, and here you go now. This is very important for the cascade and to make sure that all the objectives are related and cascaded in a very proper way. So here you go, you have the perspective for the whole corporation. You have the parent team objective, in this case is the CEO, and you have the objective of the HR, and now we just change it to HR objective 2B, and then also we can change the description for this objective to be for the HR. It's worth mentioning here that the HR now inherited all the strategy from the CEO, and then they have the flexibility to go and adjust the objective as they see fit or keep the objective exactly the same as the CEO objectives. However, for the list of KPI for HR, it also inherited the top scorecards, sorry, it's top KPIs from the CEO. However, we have no detailing, we have no target. This is just assuming that sometime the HR would like to use the same exact KPI of the CEO, not necessarily. You can either delete this KPI, there's no problem with that, or you can build on it and just also click on edit, and then you can change the KPI in the maintain screen here by saying create a new KPI, or you can call this inherited KPI and change it as you see fit in HR view. Otherwise, you can also delete this KPI. And the way that you delete your KPI is by clicking on setting, you go to KPIs, You call this specific KPI, and then you just click on delete and it will be gone from your own scorecard and not from the CEO scorecard. So HR is here the team, and you can delete the KPI from an HR team, but not necessarily from the CEO. So now let's see what's next on the wizard. Bottom left corner is called the quick start. Project module is next. Let's go and create a project now by just clicking on the project where the check mark will transfer from the KPI module to the project module. And the first screen that we want is the maintain. On the top right corner, there's something called maintain. Instead of now getting the maintain for the KPI, we're going to get the maintain for the project. So let's click on this button at the bottom, create new project, and here it is. All the information that you need to enter to set a project, starting with the objective. So this now we are in HR. So let's go and select HR objective 2B. A project name could be recruiting project. And the project manager here is not the CEO, is Mike as again. Start date could be from tomorrow till the end of the year, or maybe after a few months, and apply. Do we have a budget for this? Yes, we have a budget of uh, 56,000. Uh, we spent only 1,000 so far. So we have the variance of 55 in the budget right now. So here's the project sponsor. We can just call his name or the CEO. And also we have to do the same thing like we did for the KPI. We have to put the weight. Weight could be a very important project, normal project, or super important project. In this case, let's go and say this is super important project that we have to track. This is the project description, and this is the project risk. Okay, and then we put the mitigation plan one, and so forth. The program sometimes, not always, sometimes this project is part of a whole program. So let's call it like transformation project. This is part of it, or a program, I should say, program. And we're done with the project. That's all what do we need to put for the project. However, now we have milestones, and screen will just display one milestone, but you can add many other milestone as needed. So milestone will be here. We say find a vendor, find a vendor for recruiting. Uh, uh, we have also to assign maybe Mike, maybe somebody else for the milestones, either the project manager or somebody else who's helping him out. The milestone weight could be not that important because finding a vendor is not that difficult. So we're just going to put it as 1x. Milestone start date from the beginning to, let's say, December, January 12. And we put OK. We put description here for the milestone. Milestone description. And you can also detail maybe activities or steps here, no problem at all. Very important to add the progression or the progress of this milestone. It's a cumulative progress. So 5% and 10%, 15%. No need to add a symbol at all here. We just need to add a number so the formula could work. So then 25% and 50, and then we'll finish in June 100%. Let's say we already started and we are way ahead of the schedule, and we have a 20 so far progress on the specific milestone. So we keep adding now milestones as needed, and then at the end we just go and save the project for management to approve. Okay, in most cases you don't have to enter any actuals. However, targets are very important when you set up any KPI or milestone or a project. So here you go now. We finished, but as you can see here, it's not approved. It's not approved. So let's go and approve that because I am the owner of the whole system. So let's edit the project and then go down and say, yes, it is approved and save the project again. And now it will be added going live. So the numbers will be taken into consideration against the scorecarding and all the scores related to the objective, the perspective, and so forth. So now let's look at few things that could be customized based on the person preference. So we have an icon here on the right side to add our picture. So we can just add, each person would add his own picture to display in the system under next to the KPI or the milestone or the objective or in the, even in the tree if this picture is available. And then we close it. Now we have the picture added. In addition to this, you can customize the feel and look of your own screen, not for the whole corporation, but for your own screen. In addition to the password that you can change as needed in the future, especially when you receive it the first time as a recommendation, to change your password immediately and to keep it in somewhere safe. So this is in a nutshell how you create a system, and this is a very easy as you can see. uh, Now the question is how many KPI you're gonna add, at what level. In every team you have KPIs and projects, and also you have to add and invite all these people in the right places so they will have access to the system as you do as an owner of the system. So I wish you a best of luck to have a very good, easy to use system for everybody remotely, effectively, without really the headache of having a huge system on site. By using KPI.cloud, you solve a very chronic, usually a problem, and we can always say now, congratulations, you have the system up and running, and hopefully you will like it, and all the people who are using it, they will like it as well.